Welcome back to Discovery Diaries. In today's episode, I'm going to take you to the largest continent in the world, Asia. And in Asia, we are going to go to a country called Thailand. The capital of Thailand is Bangkok, and that's where I flew to. The city is so popular that it is the most visited city in the whole world. Let's go and see why. Bangkok is known for its amazing architecture. That means that it has really beautiful buildings and structures to see, including lots of temples. Bangkok is also known for having delicious food cooked on the streets, called street food. So, how do you fancy some of this street food? Scorpion, cockroach or tarantula? Or perhaps you might fancy some nice tasty crocodile. Luckily, I found lots of delicious alternatives. No crocodile included. Oh no, please don't dare me to try the scorpion. Nope, you don't want to see that. Let's go and visit some Buddhist temples. In Thailand, 95% of the people that live there are Buddhists. Buddhism is a religion that started in India. India is another country in the continent of Asia. It's a religion that doesn't have a god exactly, but they do follow the lessons taught by Buddha in his stories. That's why they worship him. Buddhists have buildings dedicated to their religion. Their buildings are called temples, and there are lots of them all over Thailand. It's a bit like Christians having a church and Muslims having a mosque. The temples had been so carefully built and had intricate details. You might think the outside is beautiful, but check out the inside too. Every tiny detail has been thought about, with statues of Buddha everywhere. When going inside the temples, you have to take any hats off and take your shoes off to show your respect. Buddhists believe that if people do good things in the world, good things will happen to them. They also believe that if people do bad things will happen to them. That's called karma. Because our world is such a busy place, it can be really difficult to relax your mind and stay calm. That's why Buddhists meditate. It's all about slowing down, thinking deeply, and being the best person that you can be. Exploring Bangkok, the capital city. Thailand is also famous for its rivers. It has 25 of them. A river is a natural piece of water that flows towards the ocean, the sea, lakes or other rivers. And Thailand are particularly famous for their rivers because they have floating markets on the top of them. In this video you can see people's houses built on platforms over the edge of the river. Here is a lady who has filled her boat with things to sell. That's her market stall. Bangkok is a really busy city, so it can be quite difficult with all the traffic to get around. They still drive cars and have motorbikes and mopeds just like we do in England. But most people choose to drive a moped. That's because they're cheap and easy to get through traffic jams. Another mode of transport that they have is a tuk-tuk. A tuk-tuk is halfway between a car and a motorbike. It has 3 wheels, but it's all open windows. There are tuk-tuks everywhere in Bangkok, so if you need to get somewhere, you just hop in, tell them where you want to go, and off you go. Let's go and visit a school in Thailand. I wonder if it's different to England or South Africa. After spending some time in busy Bangkok, I decided to travel east. Surin is a province. That means that it's an area within Thailand. It was actually really close to Cambodia. The children were so excited when I got to the school, and I decided to teach them the game, What's the Time, Mr. Wolf? They'd never played it before, but they absolutely loved it. This girl was 9 years old, and she brought her adorable puppy to school. I actually don't know how they got any work done. He was so cute. At the end of playtime, the children would line up on the playground, making sure that they faced the statue of Buddha. They had to line up in classes, but the class split into one boy line and one girl line. The lines had to go from tallest to shortest. They also listened to lots of Ed Sheeran and were very excited to find out that I was also from England, just like Ed Sheeran is. In Thailand, the school was quite similar to the school in England, although there were a few differences. The children had to take their shoes off to go into their classrooms as a mark of respect. Some of the children were picked up in cars and mopeds, and some walked home. Often in Thailand, people say hello, goodbye, or thank you by putting their hands together and bowing their head. It's also a sign of respect. Let's go and find the family with the pet elephants. An hour from Surin, in a really rural place, was where I went to volunteer with the family who had the pet elephants. This family dedicated their whole lives to looking after their elephants. They had even built their own trucks by using an old engine. We drove around in the trucks and stopped at people's houses. Here we asked them if they needed anything cutting down in their back gardens so that we could chop it and feed it to the elephants. That man is so high in the tree. There are two different types of elephants, African elephants and Asian elephants. Of course, now we're in Thailand, I was going to work with Asian elephants. Asian elephants are slightly different to African elephants. They have pinkish marks on them, which you often see on their trunks and their ears. Their ears are also a lot smaller than African elephants. African elephants all have tusks, but Asian elephants, only the male have tusks, the females don't. Asian elephants live in lots of different countries in Asia, not just Thailand, but that doesn't mean to say that they're not endangered. The Thai people who lived here let us go into their back garden and chop down the sugarcane. We then took the sugarcane to feed the elephants. Lots of people in Thailand had elephants in their back gardens. Elephants keep eating from between 12 to 18 hours every day. At least he's enjoying the sugarcane I chopped earlier. Elephant calves love to run and play, so here I am trying to catch it up. Let's go and make some elephant poo paper. It almost seems a bit of a waste to chop down beautiful trees when actually you can just make paper by recycling elephant poo. Especially when elephants poo 15 to 20 times every day. So here we are at the Poo Paper Project. They had all sorts of different machines and materials here because there were lots of different parts to the process. I can't believe I'm about to show you this, but the first thing we had to do was take off our shoes and socks and stand in the pit of poo and tread on it to squish it. This was what the poo looked like before we got into the poo pit. The poo was sprayed with water and we had to use our feet to squish the muck out. Obviously my first question was... Has anyone ever fallen over in here? I mean, if anyone was to fall over, surely it'd be me. The sloppy mixture was then boiled, so heated up. It was then blended, so mixed with clean water, until it became pulp, which is a soft wet material, perfect for the next part of the process. I put one large scoop of pulp into the sink, spread the pulp around the bottom of the sink using my hand to make sure it was spread out evenly. I then got the mesh frame ready. The frame is made of wood and mesh is the metal material across the middle of it. I used the frame to scoop up the pulp under the water pushed it right down to the bottom and pushed it forwards and backwards to try and spread the pulp out across the frame. I then let go of the frame and waited for it to float to the top of the water. Because mesh is a material that has lots of tiny holes in it, it was perfect to start draining the water out. My frame was now filled with a thin layer of pulp. All that's left to do now is to leave it to be dried in the sun. It takes around 7 hours to dry. If you wanted to, you could add coloured dye to the paper when it's still pulp. That would make it different colours. Once dried, you can very carefully push the paper out of the frame. Believe it or not, elephant poo doesn't smell. And that's because they're vegetarians. Elephants actually eat things like grass, leaves, stems. They love eating sugarcane and banana leaves. They even eat bark and roots too, which means that they have lots of fibre in their poo. By fibre, I just mean stringy threads. Paper is made up of fibre, so it works out perfectly to make paper with. They also had a shop full of cards and books and bookmarks. What a brilliant way to recycle. An island is land surrounded by water, and Thailand has lots of islands. Let's go and explore some. I even had a lesson how to speak Thai. Notice they don't have letters in the alphabet like we do in England. They have different symbols. There were gorgeous restaurants on the beaches with palm trees all around. Amazing places to relax. Thailand is even gorgeous at night too. I love how there are hammocks and cosy places to sit and relax on the beach. Thailand even has peaceful places within nature with rocks and waterfalls. Even the view from the toilet was amazing. What an amazing place with so many different things to see and do. I really hope you've enjoyed your adventures in Thailand this week. Join me next Tuesday on Discovery Diaries, where I'll be in California, a state in America. It was here that I got to see some seals living on the beach. I went to a really crazy basketball game, and I went whale watching, where I saw something really special. See you next Tuesday for more Discovery Diaries adventures. Thanks for watching.